Hello, 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 and welcome to Season 2, Episode number 15 of the Traditional Legends Show. I'm Brandy, and I am with John at Boxwood House in Romney, West Virginia.
And in today's episode, we will be talking about South Kakalaki, South Carolina.
Kakalaki, yes.
Part of our road trip extravaganza throughout the United States.
Whee!
Yeah, so...
Back in my old stomping grounds.
So just let you know what we're doing, catch you up on what's going on. We're going throughout the United States on a virtual road trip to all things spooky and eerie and weird and all good stuff.
Yeah. And every state has something.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say something different, but that's not exactly true. We covered every state has Squatch. Every state has some sort of lake monster.
But it's interesting to find out, there's stuff that I'm like, whoa, that is so cool.
Exactly. This is a very common misconception. People put paranormal, cryptid, supernatural into one little basket. Mm-hmm. People put history into another little basket that usually consists of wars and things like that. But the truth is, these paranormal legends that have been passed down, that is oral history. History. This is the fun side of history.
So we'll be talking today about South Carolinian lore, legends, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So let's start with the Gray Man of Pawleys Island.
Right. Now, I want to say I moved up to South Carolina from Florida. I think it was 3 years after Hurricane Hugo hit. Mm-hmm. And please keep in mind, back then, we didn't have the interwebs and cell phones and all this stuff. Them interwebs. So large events like a Category 4 hurricane, people were still talking about it several years later. Definitely. It was a really big whoop-de-doo. And of course, like I said in the last VCast, one of the first things that people asked me when they found out that I was into ghosts and things like that, well, have you heard about the Gray Man of Pawleys Island? And don't think I am making fun. I came from the swamps of Florida, and let me tell you, if I don't say that state like Florida, it always comes out Florida. Florida.
Or like in Jersey, it's Wada. Florida. It's Wada.
Yeah, So I do have a Southern accent. I promise I am not making fun of people, but that was... Anyway, I digress. Mm-hmm, Everybody was saying, well, have you heard about the Gray Man of Pawleys Island?
So let's discuss the legend.
Yes.
There's a legend that the first legend or the first conception of the Gray Man comes from a love story.
It is. It is a love story.
Unfortunately.
But our first two stories, I want to say this. These two stories really epitomize the Southern Gothic culture. Yes, the Southern Gothic culture. It is the epitome of it. If you want to know what Southern Gothic is, look no further. Here we go.
This woman... waiting for her love to come back,
right?
From the sea. This is around the 18th century, 19th century. Okay, and he comes to Georgetown on a ship. Mm-hmm. Georgetown's only a car drive about 15, 20 minutes.
No, it's a little further from Pawleys Island. If you're driving, okay, it's going to take you about half an hour to an hour. That's driving.
Yeah.
And that's down more towards Charleston.
Yep.
Now, picture 1822 without the roads, and you're dealing with buggies and
swamps
things like,
and everything like
swamps,
that. Yep.
They call it the Low Country for a reason.
So
South Carolina Low Country.
Old girl's waiting for her was it her husband or her boyfriend?
Her
lover, fiance.
Her beloved
fiance. Mm-hmm. Waiting for him to come, and never shows.
He never showed. But he never showed because he landed and he was in a hurry to get back to her.
Yep.
And unfortunately, he died.
In the swamps.
On the way. And heartbroken, absolutely distraught. This poor young woman, she takes to wandering the beaches. You know, she's got to clear her head.
She's getting clobbered by surf and
so she's wandering the beaches.
She's horrible.
And she sees a ghostly figure. He looks gray. And listen, if you have ever been on the beach when it is getting stormy out, when a storm is rolling in, everything looks a little bit gray. So she sees this gray man, and she approaches him, and he looks like her love. But she knows he's dead, and she's warned there's a huge storm coming.
Get off the island.
Yep. So she runs home, and she tells her family. And now, does her family go, girlfriend, you're crazy. Sit your butt down. No. They say, you know what?
Yeah, we may heed this warning and let's head out.
So they packed up their belongings. They hightailed it out. They got inland, and a hurricane hit. Their house was untouched. Meanwhile, the houses around them were destroyed.
Obliterated.
They were destroyed. So the moral of the story, one of the last times the gray man was sighted was in 1989 when Hurricane Hugo hit. And the people who actually listened and heeded that warning and left, they returned to find their houses still standing. Now, I came up right after Hurricane Hugo. And this was, I would say I visited about 6 months, okay? And I was going up Highway 17 through Charleston. There was a fishing boat that the waves had picked up and planted in the center median of the highway.
I think I remember a picture of that.
Yeah, this was no joke. This was the last time that the gray man is reported to have been seen. And I believe Hurricane Hugo might have been like a Category 4.
Oh, it was big.
Yeah, it was big. And Myrtle Beach area took a direct hit, which is very, very rare because Wilmington sticks out, Charleston sticks out, and then the coastline kind of curves.
Yep.
See, it curves like this glass right here. And that's why usually it's going to hit one of those two tips, Wilmington or Charleston. So when the gray man shows up, it's saying, yeah, they don't care. It's coming in right for the curve.
Now,
run.
There was another legend, but I don't hold too much weight on this one. It's the spirit of the original owner of the Pelican Inn in Pawleys Island.
I'll be honest, I have never heard that part. I've always heard the love story.
Yeah, they're claiming that it was Plowden Charles Jeanneret Weston,
interesting,
who was the original owner. But there's not that much stock in that.
Right, yeah.
There's others that have seen the gray man over in Pelican Inn. So
interesting. Well, I mean, that is in Pawleys Island.
Yep, that's on Pawleys Island.
He walks along the beach, And what I find so funny is that this was a huge story. Even when I moved up, everybody knew it. It was an oral history story that had been passed down for generations.
Exactly.
But now there are young people in their 20s and 30s that grew up down there and have never heard of the gray man.
Well, surprise.
Ever.
Surprise.
You see a gray man walking along the beaches in Pawleys Island when there's a hurricane out there. We're getting up on hurricane season here soon. Hightail it. Run. Don't think. Just go. Okay?
All right.
Save your life.
So, which brings us to another love story.
Another love story. Who thought that this area was so stinking romantical?
And it's in Pawleys Island, too.
Again, this is why I say these two stories really epitomize the whole Southern Gothic.
And I think it was the same time frame, wasn't it?
A little I think it's a little bit
later.
A little bit later, but it is still the 1800s.
Yep.
It deals with the Hermitage plantation. And again, it's the Pawleys Island area.
Yeah.
You know, there was a young woman. If y'all are from South Carolina, y'all know what I'm talking about already. You sing it, you're like, oh, it's Alice Flagg. See, I know it. I know. It's very big.
Alice Flagg.
Alice Flagg, yeah. She was a young woman. Apparently, it looks like her brother had...
Yeah, so she rode out one day, gallivanting around, and she came across a gentleman that was working on the roads, or the infrastructure, and fell in love.
It was love at first sight.
But the family
is like,
the family's like,
he ain't good enough for you.
He's not good enough for you. We're gonna put you up. We're gonna put you up with a nice guy. He's gonna have a lot of money. But
guess what? Miss Alice went out sneaking around with this young man, and when her family found out, they went, "All right, enough's enough. You're going to private boarding school down in Charleston." So again, by modern standards, from Pawleys Island down to Charleston, you're going to drive about an hour at least.
Yeah.
You know, so back then that was a good little clip.
So throughout the whole hustle and bustle, they became betrothed. And
yes, and to hide it, she wore her ring on a necklace.
Yep, which was like that right there, which was like your twist ties right there.
Yeah,
your ties. So. Yep. Yeah, so, and then Alice became very ill. She supposedly had some sort of malaria or, which
again, low
doesn't
country.
surprise me because
low country,
with mosquitoes and swamps and all that stuff.
Exactly. But you know what? Here I'm going to be a little romantic. Maybe she had a broken heart.
Maybe. Yeah, because she was about to leave. She was going.
She was already in Charleston. Oh,
was
she?
Okay.
She was at the boarding school, and she just kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And finally, the school contacted her brother and was like, listen, you need to come and get her because she's very, very ill and she needs to go home. And so when she came home and when she was on her sick bed, they found the ring.
Oh, they found the ring, yeah. And the brother tore it off of her.
Exactly.
And got rid of it.
And poor Alice died.
Yep.
Poor Alice died. Now, people claim, and they've been claiming this for a good long time, that they actually see Alice either at her grave or walking the stairs of the Hermitage plantation house with her hands here looking very, very sad because she's looking for her ring.
Now you know about the superstition, right? At her grave,
leaving offerings.
Well, yeah, but there's also another addition to that, which
don't people leave rings?
Well, it says if you walk around her gravestone 6 times counterclockwise and then 6 times clockwise, stopping at the letter A, and then placing a token of recognition, making a wish, it will be granted.
When you want to go to South Carolina. See, now it's coming out. I ain't even playing.
But that is such a heartbreaking love story. And it's so, telling of that area. Two love stories that have turned into major earth-shattering paranormal situations.
Yeah, and tragedies. And here's the thing. Nobody questions it.
Yeah.
Nobody questions it. They just know Alice Flagg haunts her grave. She haunts the Hermitage. Everyone knows and just accepts that if you see the gray man walking around the beaches on Pawleys Island and there's a hurricane out there, go.
Exactly.
Get on. Go. So it's not even questioned.
So let me ask you this. As far as gray man.
Okay.
You have gray man. Lots of water energy. Lots of, with the hurricane pressures, everything like that. why not have a small energetic bubble that spirits can come through better with? Hence the Gray Man of Pawleys Island.
Right. It would make absolute sense. And you know what? Here's the thing. Maybe that's why the further south you get, the more ghost stories and cryptids and things like that. And maybe that's even more why, again, the further south you go, the Southern Gothic backdrop is really, really there, because you have the swamps.
Yep.
You have the propriety of, I joined the junior league. How are you? And girls go by their first and middle names, but it's, on the one hand, you have that propriety.
Yep.
And then on the other hand, you have the things that are kept secret, or like the secret love. The love of the man that you're not supposed to have.
That right there is a paranormal powder keg.
Right. So and here's the thing. Nobody questions it. It's not surprising. It's just like,
no. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And here's the thing. Let me tell you, if someone calls you up and goes, listen, I saw the Gray Man, it's like, all right, I'm packing. If someone calls you up and says that they saw the ghost of Alice Flagg, it would be like, ooh, tell me more. No one is ever going to sit there and tell you that you're crazy.
No, not done her.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think that is a beautiful thing. Y'all keep being you.
So
just saying.
Let's talk about the next interesting.
We're moving away from Pawleys Island.
So yeah, we're moving away from Pawleys Island. We're going into Bishopville, South Carolina.
That's in Lee County.
And towards the north end of South Carolina. A little bit further away from Myrtle Beach. Probably about a 2-hour drive, not even.
But we get back into swamps.
Yeah, we're getting back into swamps.
The escape or swamp.
So this is an interesting story, because after I read it a few different instances, it's like, boy, what is wrong with this lizard man? What is wrong with this lizard man? He loves eating cars.
Yeah. Okay, maybe he's not eating it. Maybe he's attacking.
Maybe he's attacking, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe he's seeing it as some sort of a creature that he's attacking. Maybe.
He's eating a lot of them, though.
You know that Blondie song, Rapture? It talks about aliens coming down and eating cars and eating bars.
It's just weird. So, folks, this is this is outside of Bishopville in the swamps. They call him the Lizard Man.
Yes.
And he was first seen in
1988.
June 29th, 1988.
You know what? Come to think of it, that's really, really interesting, because you know what? It was the following year that Hurricane Hugo hit. Yeah. So the edge of Scape or Swamp, which is outside Bishopville. Right. Gentleman got a blown tire. Got out. It happens.
Yeah, got out, started, changing the tire. And he heard a sound like someone running, getting louder and louder, and then it emerged through the darkness. This big old lizard-looking...
7 foot tall.
Lizard-looking dude. And, blazing red eyes and scaly green skin.
But do you know what else that sounds like? Blazing red eyes.
Yeah.
Green skin.
Yep.
Oh, the Flatwoods Monster. Sounds very much like it. The Flatwoods Monster had glowing red eyes. Yes, sir.
Well, yeah, no, glowing red eyes, but green? I don't think it was.
Yes,
too much.
There was green. Accounts, yeah.
But it does go back to the reptilians.
Ding, 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 ding.
The reptilian aliens. So this, this thing comes out of nowhere. He takes off. Just 2 weeks later, police were called to the scene of some vandalisms that a car not too far from the swamp had been attacked at night.
Okay.
So 2 weeks later, this happened. The fender had been ripped off, the antenna bent, deep scratches along the body. Old girl got pissed at someone and was like, you cheating on my man? All that stuff. I think no. But it just tells you that it's like chrome trim had seemingly been chewed off.
Right. And I know that they were thinking like maybe in the beginning it could have been a gator or something.
Yeah.
But then they had someone come out and look at it, an expert.
But that would make a lot of sense, gators
right,
and all that.
Right.
But then again, they're just too darn.
Yeah. And the level or height that it was, they were like, yeah, no, it wouldn't have been a gator. Now, you brought up reptilian. Let me throw this little wrench in the works.
Okie dokie.
So in Southeast Asian mythology, the Naga are semi-divine creatures that are half human and half serpent. On top of that, anthropomorphic reptilians, such as lizards and snakes, they're often associated with jungles, swamps, and other tropical areas. Mm-hmm. And this was such... deities were common in many Mesoamerican cultures. So, is it a cryptid? Is it a deity as spoken of in Mesoamerican cultures? Or is it a reptilian alien?
Well, Mesoamerican cultures, you think of, Central America and everything else, which is not that far.
And here, let me see if I can say this. Quetzalcoatl.
Okay.
The serpent god.
Ah, okay.
The serpent god.
Yep.
Now, of course, people believe in reptilian aliens.
Yeah,
and they're
controlling
the U.S. government. Just saying. Things are getting a little wonky out there. Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho, but
if I was a reptilian alien, I wouldn't go after a car and start eating it. So that again tells me that it's something that really doesn't have a. It might be rambunctious. It might be a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So I think about that maybe because I don't see a reptilian destroying it unless it was strategic in nature.
Exactly.
This sounds to me like some pet got out and started chewing up a tire or something like that.
Maybe it was a kid, maybe a toddler.
Yeah. They even said that it might have been some sort of dog but they got rid of that.
Yeah, the scratch marks and the tooth marks. But just for your consideration, perhaps the lizard man of Scape Ore Swamp is one of these Mesoamerican deities.
Yeah.
But they considered a deity while it may have been a reptilian alien.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or it could have been a dog or some sort of pet of a reptilian. It's
this is the thing.
Fido got out. We got to go get him before he chews up another car.
The one witness said that this thing jumped on his car, attacked him.
Yeah.
Now, if the guy was, let's go with it's an alien deity or alien deity, alien, okay, an alien being. Okay, maybe it saw this dude and win an attack, and when the guy maybe jumped in his car because it jumped on the hood of his car.
Yeah.
So maybe it was thinking, okay, well that's his ship or his.
Well. I'm also thinking a defensive posture, maybe. Hey, you stumbled on our property. Mm-hmm. You stumbled into our base.
Get the hell out of there. Maybe you got too close. Maybe you got too close.
Yeah.
So who knows? Yep. For your consideration.
So the Lizard Man. Summer 1998.
Yes.
The Lizard Man made his presence and appetite for cars known again. Oh. And then in the summer of 2015, somebody actually caught a picture of it.
Really? I did not see that.
Yeah. I didn't. I tried to look around. Well, we may want to put that on the website.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to put that on the website.
Yeah. Super and then
cool.
I believe Josh Gates.
Josh Gates. I know a
lot. Had it on either had it on Expedition X or some sort of show that he was on that he went down there and
investigated.
Yeah, investigating it. Yeah.
And still was left with question marks.
Yeah, exactly.
Question marks, yeah.
Yeah, because they're the ones that tested out the scrapes and the scratch, all that stuff. So
crazy.
There's some weird things going on.
South Carolina's awesome. It's awesome.
I'll tell you what. Well, the thing of it is, the thing that gets me is, okay, is it just, attacking it because it may be metallic in nature? It may be like, oh, there's something gleaming off of it. Let me attack it now because it's it's a threat to me.
Well, like robins in the springtime that fly into windows.
Yeah, they'll smack into a tree or they'll smack into a window.
Because they see the reflection and think that it is another robin that's trying to...
So it could be another thing, defense mechanisms and all that.
Right.
So that's really nuts to think about. It's like chewing up your car. It's like the only thing I could think of is Fido chewing up a toy. So it's funny like that.
Maybe it's their food. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I doubt it's a food. I think it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Or old boy's walking through the swamps and comes across a house with a car and the car's shiny and it's like, what the hell is that? Let me start attacking it.
Here, let me say this. At no point in this conversation have we even questioned the legitimacy or sanity of the witnesses. It's just like, they're telling the truth.
Well, it's not that they're telling the truth. It's just we're keeping an open mind out for it. Open mind, open empathy.
Yeah.
Different things like that because I'm not gonna turn around and say, oh, you're screwy, you're nuts, because you
here's
saw
the
this.
thing. In folklore, there is a basis of such creatures. This is not something that just came out of nowhere. There is actually folkloric tales, history of such creatures. So I don't think that it can be dismissed.
So next week we'll be traveling to the most hellacious place that I've ever been to in the United States.
Stop it!
Hey, no, I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say it right now. Every time I go to the damn place, it's either like a forest fire, or the city's burning, or something like that. So
it's been a really long time though since we've been down there. That was just
all right, folks. So the first time I drove through there, I drove down 95, and the whole corridor 95 was on fire, forest fire. Like, it was hell on earth, okay? Second time, coming back from Florida, coming up, there was a huge warehouse fire in Atlanta. Huge fire, like, bellowing everywhere, okay? Third time around, we're caught a monsoon in a freaking thunderstorm. It's like...
Oh, no, that is, like, so common. And here's the thing. If you were driving on 95 between Florida and Georgia... You can't just like pull over and wait for the rain to stop because it's piecemeal. Yeah, that's so normal.
We stayed in Brunswick. Okay, that's cool, but Jesus Christmas!
It was during an Elvis convention.
It was
Elvis.
Was it? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? That was insane. So, folks, we're going to be checking out Georgia. So, as always, please remember to rate, review, subscribe to or follow this podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And I just want to send out a special thanks to everyone so far that has been a fantastic viewer on our VCast, interactive, giving the likes, commenting. It's awesome. It's really a good motivator. So thank you so much. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right. So with that said,
I'm Brandy.
And I'm John. Have a great day, night, evening, wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are. Take care.